true.
Yeah.
Super tired.
6:45 too early, but he did.
What are you talking about? That's so early.
For her, it's wicked early, but like
I was gonna say, I think pre-lockdown me 6:45 was not too early. Post-lockdown me 6:45 is just some unknown time. That's way too early.
It's so true.
Always.
Hello, everyone. This is David Stark from Watch Or Pass, and today I'm very excited to be joined by Augie Duke and Michael Reed, the stars and co-producers of 6:45, a new Groundhog Day-like horror thriller, which is releasing in theaters on August 6, 2021. We're going to talk to them in just a second, but first, let's check out the trailer. And while you're watching, if you could like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. It helps me out a lot. Thank you.
Look at how beautiful this is. Isn't that amazing?
Looks like something out of a Norman Rockwell painting.
Welcome.
To the cozy nook.
Why is it so quiet around here, Gene?
There's a little history on the island, that's all.
This is gonna go bad.
Jules is different.
Where's the steak and let's spread? Where's the steak and let's spread? Where's the steak and let's spread?
I'd never hurt you. You know that, right?
How many times I gotta tell you, you can't get off the island.
I don't know who you think you were with, but it wasn't her.
Something happens, dude.
What happens to me?
Don't worry. You kids are gonna have a great day.
Hey, Augie, hey, Michael. Oh, there we go. There's audio. Hey, Augie.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up?
How's it going?
What's your name?
David.
Hi, David. I'm
David.
Augie. This is Michael.
What's up?
Hi, pleasure to meet you.
You too,
Nice to meet
man.
you,
Thanks
So,
for having me.
so what time did you get up today? Was it like 6:45-ish? Did you wake up, right on time, or?
You know.
Never again, dude. Never again.
They have very good press materials. They sent us all the information.
We're just gonna say that we wake up at 6:45 a.m. every morning.
Every morning.
And then we die.
And then every night, yeah, you sleep like the dead, which is
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There you go. It's perfect. So this is Augie Duke and Michael Reed, the stars and co-producers of 6:45. It's coming to theaters on August 6, 2021. It's a Groundhog Day-like horror thriller I think it's amazing because it was made, correct me if I'm wrong, it was made during lockdown, right? Like this was a lockdown film project?
Right before it. And then
Right
the
before it.
pandemic, we were like, okay, now we're in lockdown again.
Yeah. We
Oh,
wrapped
wow.
it. Months later, things
No,
were shut down.
literally
Yeah.
3 weeks later.
3 weeks later.
3 weeks later.
So that was really lucky then for you all.
Yeah, extremely lucky. But it's cool that they had all the time in the world on post, right? They're like locked in on, you're like, no excuses, get it done.
Yeah, no, seriously, that's but that must have been kind of jarring, right? Because then I guess it's better than having to do the whole thing, under lockdown. But then you got to figure out how to have everything edited and get all that work done. So, I guess we'll just start at the beginning. How did you find this project? Had you worked with Craig before, or is this just something that kind of came on your desk?
Called Groundhog's Day horrors. And we were like, where's the Groundhog Day horrors we can be in? No, we okay, so special effects, Vincent Guistini introduced me to Craig on Facebook. Do you know what Facebook is?
I've heard of it. That's the one that steals all my data, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
Same, knows what I'm looking at, Googling every day. That one.
Exactly.
So he introduced me and he said he had these cool slates of films, and then he gave me 6:45 and he's like, let's do this together. And then he's like, if you have a dude, that would be great. So I list of guys that I gave him, I put my boyfriend right in the middle so he didn't know it was my boyfriend. Picked my boyfriend, which is questionable, but then he's like, who's this Michael Reed guy? He's a really good actor. I was like, I don't know him, but he seems really good. So that's how that happened.
Yeah. True story.
No, that's awesome. I assume that you came as a package. So that's great that you kind of both.
Totally. Oh, no.
Yeah, it very much could have been one of her other ex-boyfriends.
Yeah, totally. All exes and then current boyfriend.
They're like, these people they're all dead for some reason. And then there's Michael guy. I don't know what happened. It's weird.
We're all on a film. I don't know. I guess Michael.
He's a lot.
But so, I mean, you both have like pretty prolific horror backgrounds. So was this a new concept? I know there's been a few kind of Groundhog Day like horror films, but there aren't as many as I kind of expected. So is this just something new that seemed interesting to you all, or how did what kind of caught your fancy about this script?
Yeah, well, Robert wrote it like 10 years ago.
It was Story and Robert together. This was 10 years old. Yeah, way
The script.
before like Happy Death Day.
Yeah,
so
before it became super
before it
in to do it again.
This is so hipster.
So
It's
hipster. Oh my God, I love that you said that. I love that.
So this script could have been shot 10 years ago and had beaten to the punch to the new resurgence of it, but apparently it's a thing now and it's happening. We're kind of in the middle of it now. So
Right. So, and then, as indie filmmaking goes, we tried to make it many times with possible promising investors that kind of fell through.
in and out.
As it goes.
Mhm.
And then found the right team, and then it all worked out right before the pandemic hit.
So when you were kind of prepping and like filming, like, was there any inclination, like, I remember when, before the pandemic, I was like, oh yeah, there's this virus that sounds bad, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, now we can't do anything. Like, was there any inclination as you were getting this ready, or was it just kind of like,
Yeah.
otherwise?
Not as we were getting ready, but when I had to fly back to LA for a gig I had, because we were filming and I had to go back for something. That's when it started. People were like, oh, there's this thing going around, be careful. And then that was the beginning of it all. So I didn't know how big it was going to be. But then,
I wasn't personally really privy to
right.
where this was going to go or where the virus was going to go or anything.
I don't think anyone really knew about it.
No. And thank God we didn't have to wear masks or anything like that, because shooting during lockdown is an absolute nightmare and a headache, with masks everywhere and people wearing the shields, that kind of
You gotta
stuff.
get, you have to take the time and
Thank God.
a lot of money.
Yeah, well, I saw that you both have been very busy. I assume some of that is during lockdown, so that must have been it must have been a difficult experience to film, like you said, during lockdown, because you have so many more protocols and you're probably a lot more kind of restricted in what you can do even while you're filming. So maybe it's less fun than making movies without all the restrictions. I don't know. I don't know what it's like, but it sounds like it could be terrible.
Yeah, it's all less fun.
You feel safe.
Yeah,
You feel like you're safe. That part's good. It is, a strenuous, stressful situation because it's nerve-wracking. It's like nobody knows what's going to happen. It's a new thing,
So thank God we didn't have to do that with this. Yeah.
No, but I've had to do it a million times after. So I've taken that COVID test I had to take. I don't know. I think I've taken it it feels like 1,000 times.
Oh my gosh. And you must have had all the iterations. Like you had the ones where they like really jammed it up your nose, and the ones that are like, oh, we'll just do a little bit. And
this one person, I thought something happened, and I was like, and she's like, it's okay. And I was like, no, it's not okay. Anyway, it's very, violent, violent area.
So, I think one of the things I love most, obviously I loved your chemistry, which, I guess I understand where you got the chemistry from on screen. But the other thing I love is this town was awesome. Had you been to this town before? Where was this filmed? It just seemed like this quaint little, I don't know, like a New England kind of town, but I have no idea where it was actually filmed. So
It's Jersey, and it's near Ashbury Park, called Ocean Grove.
Ocean Grove. It's this little beach town. So
the Airbnb that they got for the hero location was actually where they put up the cast and crew as well. Like most of the cast and crew was jammed in there, so it was like this big powwow party, like
camping and bed and breakfast camping.
And we were right on the ocean, and it was freezing at the time. So that it was cold as hell.
Yeah, it snowed a couple times, even though you can't tell in the movie. It doesn't look like it was snowing at all, but it was.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm sure the inn was haunted, we thought. So there's that too.
Some weird stuff.
So you could have made a whole nother movie as well. Like you could have made the movie and then the reality show, like Ghost Hunters kind of thing.
We should have done that.
I
Where
wish
was
they
the
did
other
more.
camera?
I wish they did more. Yes, I really did. That would have been so cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not even kidding with you. There's so much that happened behind the scenes that it would be like, wow, that is a movie. Like, it's really unbelievable.
Yeah.
I had a black eye by the end of the week. That was fun.
Oh God.
Yeah. I like
a ghost, or I don't know if I should bring it up.
No, it was the line producer Maria came in to have me sign some papers, and she scared the shit out of me, and I bumped my head on the corner of the kitchen, like the corner of a table, and I was
2 days left of shooting.
Like, what? Boom!
Oh.
Black eye, but maybe it worked. Did it work?
It totally worked.
Yeah. You're just getting into character, I guess. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, she's gonna have a shiner for the last 2 days.
I did.
Our amazing makeup artist,
Angel,
covered it up, and it wasn't like huge, but it was
No,
definitely,
dude, it was bad.
definitely noticeable. Like, oh my God, the director's going to kill us.
Sort of.
I mean, yeah, I'd love to hear more stories like that. So I was talking to one independent filmmaker who filmed like a haunted, like ghost type movie in a hotel, and he told me like, some of the stories that happened that were not related to the movie, but that happened there. And also there was one thing where something fell just randomly that was part of the movie. And he's like, no, that completely happened organically. Like, I know it looked haunted, but that just, I mean, I guess it was haunted, but that just happened. You know, there was no props there. So
There was one instance, I'll briefly just explain it. We both woke up in the middle of the night, like 4 in the
4 a.m.
morning. And I don't know why, I looked over and there was these heavy Venetian blinds, wood ones that you have to turn, and they were heavy. And I was just looking over at it, and she was awake too. And the Venetian blind went, "Burr," and I was like, whoa.
No window was open, by the way.
We both
No
got
window was open.
chills, and there was no window in, and I first, I think we covered our heads with a
That's
blanket or
freaky,
something.
dude. It's like, what the hell?
And then I went and checked, and it's not a loose Venetian blind. This had some tension to it, and it moved, man.
It moved.
I
No
swear to
windows
God.
were open. It moved. But, you know, believe us or not, it
Yeah.
really happened.
Yeah.
I mean, the two options are rats or ghosts, and I think I'd probably rather go with ghosts, to be honest. So
I agree.
So had you been to this town before? Or was this a first experience for both of you?
Yeah, no, this is the first that the director, Craig Singer, has been there. Knows the town.
He's from Jersey.
He scouted this whole place and was like, I have the perfect town for this movie. This is going to be epic in this little town. So, yeah.
And I think we got a banging deal on that, the Airbnb.
We sure
Because it was
did.
off season, and I think he finagled it a little bit, and I think we got a really good deal.
Yeah, we did. We did get a good deal.
It's kind of interesting that, you know, almost what you're describing, like, you know, off season, deserted area, rented the whole place. That would be kind of the perfect setup for a lockdown filming, and yet you you did it right before it was your dry run, I guess.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
We could have done it through the pandemic. Could have, but we didn't. So we didn't know.
And so, I mean, one thing I did notice, and I think it's brought up in the movie, is the town is deserted. Is that just because it was off season, or did you have to kind of like clear areas, or is this all natural?
It was off season.
It was freezing cold. That's a summer. During the summer, that
It's a
place
beach
is
town.
bumping, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. But during the winter, there was very few people walking around at all.
Yeah, it was a beach town, which worked perfectly for
Yeah.
us.
Because there's a line, in which is not giving anything away. There's a line that she asked the
Why is it so
the
different?
innkeeper, basically, why is it so quiet here?
Yeah.
And she asked that several
I
times.
think it's in the trailer, so it
It's in
doesn't
the
matter.
trailer.
That's fine. Hey, you know what? Most people don't watch movies with interviews with actors, you know, just to like find out more about the movie. So I figure most people watching this have probably seen the film. But yeah, we can avoid spoilers. So.
Or crazy or not, they're weird.
Hey, whatever gets the attention, right? That's all that matters. So you know, you filmed this, and then were you able to stay a little bit after, or was it kind of, you know, after you just wanted to get out because you'd spent, you know, I don't know how long, a week, 2 months there?
3 days. We didn't get all the footage we needed, I believe, and they're
We're
like,
there for a
hey, yeah, we're gonna need to extend this 3 more days to
Yeah.
get some more shots, and we're like, cool, whatever.
Yeah, and by that time we were done.
And we're
Because
friends with everyone.
it was like a family affair, as you know. These little indie films are like, one is so close to each other, so you miss each and every one. But at that point, I think everyone was just burnt out
Yeah,
by the.
it was a lot, but it was fun.
But we did it.
And so I guess, you know, I'm pretty sure I know how you prepared to play an on-screen couple. But what was it like playing an on-screen couple? Was there any, you know, I don't know what you would do. Did you kind of establish backstories? Did you just kind of like go right in?
That's a really good question. Some people are really scared to do it with their significant other that are actors. Like
Mhm.
I've had people go, "How did you do that? I could never do that." But I think it worked in our benefit because it's real in that way. There's tension, there's love, there's everything in between. It wasn't like this, we just met each other and we're falling in love thing. It was like this real relationship happening right in front of you. So I think for that reason, it was about chemistry and real life sort of connecting, intertwining with these characters. And thank God you're not an asshole like Bobby.
He's
And I'm not
misunderstood.
as nice as Jules. I'm actually the asshole in real life. So it's perfect.
So you got to play some characters as well as, you know, being
Yeah, I got to be nicer.
It was. I think it's cool. It's great working with her. I mean, she's very talented, so that's also very
So-
nice that we're lifting each other up constantly. But anytime there is, of course, you know, physicality in script, that's always an issue for real life. You know, people that haven't met before. Hi, what's going on? My name's Michael. We're going to have sex today. And you're like, oh God. Those scenes are kind of like very uncomfortable and nightmarish. Keep it professional. But with her and I, Craig, it was a relief for all of us because anything could be done and it was completely natural. You know, I didn't have to say, oh, can I put my hand here or, you know, stuff like that. That scene was very easy and natural and a lot of fun.
And he wanted that. That was very important for Craig Singer to know that we had chemistry and that the physicality wasn't going to be a weird thing. And I'm like, obviously not. So, but
our banter too, because he was loose with us with improv and stuff. We could improv, and our back and forth together was very natural because we've been together 6 years now.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it was natural. Yeah. So.
I was like, it was a little rocky, but no, it was very natural. I love the idea that you show up on set the first day and you're like, no, we've been prepping for this for like 5.5 years roughly. No, we're ready for this.
Well, they had been banging around the script to us, like she was saying,
for about 3 years.
About 3 years, going in and out of different producers that were dropping in and out. And so we had been sort of mentally prepping for this movie 100%. And almost gave up on it once. And then he's like, came in through.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, I talked to a lot of indie, you know, filmmakers, actors, and it just seems like a difficult, lovely, painful process just because you get these kind of jumps and goes and all of a sudden you're like, oh, we got funding, we got to go. And then, oh no, something else happens. And yeah, it sounds like a rough process, but.
It is rough.
It's heartbreaking,
we made it happen.
But then it's worth it at the end.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because it is like, you know, this is something that it was written before the kind of influx of Groundhog Day like films, but this does feel like something that's a little unique and very kind of personal that you might not get from a bigger budget film.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I would agree. Thank you.
So you're both stars, but then you're also co-producer. So I guess, you know, one thing I'm wondering, I know producers kind of, they run the gamut. There's people that help out at the start. There's people that do kind of day-to-day on the set. And then there's people after that, you know, work on the film, edit it, you know, do whatever needs to do to get it through to release. You know, I guess, what was your role as producers? Was that, you know, were you wearing two hats during filming, or was that something that kind of came up after?
No. Thank God we weren't wearing two hats. We even talked about, I was like, Craig, I can't produce while I'm on set.
You didn't expect us to either.
No, we just connected the dots. We introduced people like the DP, Lucas Patassi. I introduced him to wardrobe, Catherine Forrest, Angel Sortera, the makeup, and Maria Georgisian. She's a very unique last name. Is the line kind of introduce each other to people. I'm like, these are great indie filmmakers. Let's work with these guys. Let's bring them in from LA. And then he had his guys. So we just connected the dots, and that's kind of how we produced it.
I mean, I built the deck.
Oh yeah. He built a couple
like
decks. He did a lot of work. Yeah.
So you know, they're like, hey, you do graphic design, right? Can you build a deck? I'm like, all right, let's do this. That kind of stuff, like hands-on, getting stuff going.
I feel like you kind of have to do it all these days. As in, you know, you kind of have to know everything. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, especially these projects of this size, you do kind of need people. And now during lockdown, you hear stories where like, well, we could only have this many people, so like everyone had to wear multiple hats to get it done.
And Craig was also very cool about in us for the producing shoes. If we had a question of a scene or whatnot, or if we had any suggestions, he was very open to us.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
saying, hey, how about we cut this and change this to them playing chess instead or something like that.
Right.
And he was, he's like, cool. Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah,
he was open to that.
He's very collaborative in that way, which is amazing. Some people aren't, so he is.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome to hear. And so the film, you know, was done filming and now it's being released. What's it been like promoting it during lockdown? I guess you're probably used to it because we both have promoted projects during lockdown, but is it, you know, is it better or worse, just different? I guess what's that process been like?
We just had our New York premiere, which was out, which was insane.
It was massive.
You know, and the feedback was surprisingly amazing. We were like, oh my God, that's awesome. So it's been surreal because it's in Regal now, exclusively at Regal Cinemas, which is amazing that indie film is at Regal, which never happens. I think it's better than we ever thought it would be. So we're really humbled by that, I think.
I'm just hoping, because we're coming into like the second strain of COVID here now.
I know.
And so theaters were just about to open up and our film's coming out and we're like, this is perfect timing. We're releasing, things are opening up. People are going back to the theater. And then, you know, Delta strain or whatever hits. And I'm just, you know, promoting this movie and saying, go to the theaters. I hope it kind of doesn't get quashed with that kind of situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll hope not, but.
Yeah, I was thinking, you bring up a good point, because I was thinking the same thing that you were. Like, it's coming out in August, the theaters are kind of opening, but there is this kind of this need for content, and so it's kind of a perfect storm. But then it's also another perfect storm, because who knows what's going to happen in 2 weeks. But I feel like this time around, even if there is a little bit of a hitch, the majority of stuff is just going to stay open, because some amount of people are vaccinated, they're still going to be going, and then other people can mask up. As far as we know so far, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Let's hope.
People want to go to the theater again. We talked to several people at the premiere, and they're like, oh God, this is the first time I come out. This is amazing. I want to get back to the theater.
Of course.
And that's great, because who doesn't want to sit in a big, huge, dark room and watch a movie as opposed to your living room?
Let's never have theater die. It's the best thing ever. So.
Yeah, definitely. And I think horror also is kind of you can have this kind of communal experience where people gasp at the seas, or people can talk about what's happening after the fact. I think there is a certain communal aspect to horror films, because they do portray some grisly, terrible things.
Mm-hmm. And the sound is really
absolutely.
important. Mm-hmm. So sound, being in a theater and hearing the sound, it just makes.
I love the audience. I was like, good. You're freaked out.
Yeah. I remember I went to a showing of The Lodge, which came out. I think this was like a month before lockdown, and like after the movie, it's a very tense film. And after the movie, the entire audience just all exhaled at the same time randomly, because we were just all holding our breath during the entire film.
That's awesome.
I've been
it's
there.
A good feeling.
Yeah.
So, I know we have limited time, so I'd like to switch. I call it the lightning round. Just short, lightweight questions about the film. I want to see how you actors map onto things that happen with the characters. You can feel free to not answer any of them. I won't be offended, but I try to keep them very answerable.
Yes. Okay,
sure.
Go for it.
So the first question is, have you ever accidentally set an alarm or had an alarm go off at a time that you didn't think it would?
No.
Nope. You haven't woken up at like 4:30 in the morning, like, oh damn it, I forget I spent this at 4.
Why was I thinking of like alarm, like in an entire building that you set off?
Have you ever pulled a fire alarm? Be advised, this is going to the police as well.
Yes, I have. Sorry, at 6:40.
Yeah, or you think an event's going to happen. You're like, you get up at the wrong time, and you're like, I got to get to the airport, and you're like, oh shit, that's tomorrow.
Yes, I have. Okay, never mind. I have.
Yeah.
Excellent. Actually, that is a good question. So, was it actually filmed at around 6:45? Was there a certain time you were filming these, or did you stay time appropriate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need that perfect morning lights to make it look natural.
Thank God, other than a few days where we catch light or in the exterior, we did not get up at 6:45 to shoot this.
No.
He was very cool about that, and shooting days started a little bit later.
Yeah. We did cush time, which
I would not. Yeah.
which was nice.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, it's probably easier to play something when you're not asleep, but maybe it would have been natural. Maybe it would have looked, like you were actually in this harrowing situation when you're half asleep and trying to wake up.
Oh, super tired.
6:45 too early, but he did.
What are you talking about? That's so early.
For her, it's wicked early, but like
I was gonna say, I think pre-lockdown me 6:45 was not too early. Post-lockdown me 6:45 is just some unknown time. That's way too early.
It's so true.
Always.
Where is the strangest place you've stayed?
Oh gosh, stayed just as a vacation?
Yeah.
Ocean, where we were staying.
I guess it is weird to be in a deserted beach town that's also freezing cold. That is a strange situation.
Oh, it was so terrible.
Gosh, I stayed at this really crazy, weedy Louisiana hotel once. This hotel in Louisiana that was just dark, spooky, and just like plants growing all over the place, and it was really cool.
No, Queen Mary. Sorry, spent the night there. That's the one.
Yeah, Queen Mary was cool.
You just love these haunted places, don't you?
So much.
Did you go? So I've never stayed in the Queen Mary, but I've visited it when it was docked. Did you go on the ghost tour where they go through the different places where they say ghosts are?
Yeah, and I also lost my phone there, so I know it's haunted.
It
was.
She took me there for my birthday. It was awesome.
It was for your birthday.
You should have a spooky ringtone and just call it occasionally, randomly, so that maybe when people are going into Queen Mary, they'll hear this ghostly wail or something.
Genius idea.
What is the earliest you've woken up on vacation?
Oh gosh, I guess vacation, taking a red eye, man. Like
No, like waking up
I don't
on
know,
vacation.
3 in the morning, 4 in the morning.
11 a.m.
What was the last time you went, or last place you went that was new? Like the last time you went to someplace new?
Oh, Ohio. I was just there. I've never been. It's not like exactly, but it was new.
It's very glamorous.
Yeah, it's so glamorous.
Goodness, new. Just outside of LA in an Airbnb that we stayed at. That was
No,
really,
come on,
I mean, I don't know.
Fiji?
Fiji, that was a long time ago. It was 10 years ago.
I know, but that's something new.
That's a good answer too. We can go with Fiji.
Yeah.
That works too. When was the last time you were at the beach? Although you're in LA, so maybe it was like last week.
A week ago.
It was a week ago.
I told you they give me all the information for this prep. I'm ready to go.
And
Yeah.
Have you ever spent an entire day in bed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume that was prep for this movie. You were just, prepping very hard for it.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
So rough.
What was the last bar you went to?
But oh, wait. Didn't we just the one at the premiere party? The Moxie Hotel had a bar.
Yeah, the Moxie, the hotel.
And what's your go-to drink?
Oh.
Bourbon.
It's good man.
Wine? White wine?
That's also a good choice. Those are both very, very good drinks. So the movie has a prominent letter that is kind of shown and then read. When was the last time that you wrote or received a letter?
Oh.
Handwritten. Snail mail.
Yeah.
15 years ago.
15 years ago.
I'm just guessing. Yeah. Really?
Recently, because I'm pregnant, so I'm getting a lot of congratulations letters. So recently, like a week ago.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just the post-lockdown baby is going to be a new thing.
Yep.
I know lockdown babies were a whole new thing. So,
Baby.
and when was the last time you experienced deja vu?
Oh my god, I have that a lot.
I do have it a lot. I don't know. A couple of months ago.
Yeah.
I don't recall why.
A couple weeks ago for me, I had it. Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
I don't remember the reason. A couple months ago.
It is strange how when it happens, you're like, sometimes you can place exactly what the memory was, and sometimes just like, this just feels like something I've had this experience before. It's really just a weird feeling.
It's a
Strange.
parallel universe, man. I don't know.
It's a very strange feeling.
Yeah. And so, the film is being released early next month, and I know you both have very prolific, acting careers, and you've been very busy. So what, after the film comes out, what's next for you? Or you have other projects that are also releasing soon?
I do. Yeah, I've got a couple of things. One is Garden, which is like a dark fantasy, which I'm really proud of. We shot it on 35 millimeter, it's just
very cool.
The world to see that. And
very Guillermo del Toro kind of like Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. I just wrapped up a film I'm really proud of too. And he's got some things he's writing in the works.
Yeah, my partner and I are producing a couple things ourselves that we're kicking out, and we're working on that we did through the pandemic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
personal project.
That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that you were both able to kind of stay busy, because I know that was just a big unknown for a lot of people in the industry. They just weren't sure what was going to happen. So
trying. Yeah.
We spoke to a few writers. We were like, oh, there's no excuse. It's the pandemic. You got to write. And I spoke to one writer specifically who's like, you think, but it's actually different when you're kind of like forced to sit down and write. You're not or inspired. You can't get inspired. So just because pandemic and you have the time doesn't mean the writers were kicking it out. It's
no, absolutely.
Which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of get stuck in a rut, and you're like, there's nothing creative going on around you, so you can't come up with anything new. Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, then also you got the other project you have planned in, I don't know, 4 to 6, 7 months, something like that, coming out to be released.
Oh yeah, we have that too. I forgot. We have
biggest production
the
ever.
production. Yeah, we're in pre-production.
You think indie films are messy? Just wait.
Until you have
Do you have some yourself?
Yeah.
I do. I have 3 kids.
Oh wow, there you go.
Boys or girls and boys and girls?
2 girls, 1 boy.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, it is its own production, and it's wonderful and terrible and then wonderful again. So I feel like it's kind of like an indie film.
Never a dull moment. Yep.
Well, awesome. So thank you so much for your time. This is Augie and Michael from 645, which is releasing on August 6, 2021 in theaters, if if they're still open, but it's coming to Regal, so you can check it out at your local theater if it's coming out near you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David.
so much. So good to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too. Also, I would stay in chat, but I'm interviewing was it Craig like right now. But quickly, what part of LA are you in?
We're in the valley. We're in Tarzana.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I grew up in the valley, on top of the valley in Santa Clarita. So
Yeah, I know Santa Clara. You're close.
Nice.
yeah, that's where I grew up, and then I went to USC for many years, but now we're in Washington DC. So
Oh, that's rad, dude.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Well, have fun with Craig. Awesome. You'll love him.
awesome.
And
Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, pleasure meeting you. And yeah, I can't wait to see how this does. It's such a, I feel like the theaters opening is new, but then indie films in the theaters as well is kind of a newer thing. So we'll see how it does.
Did you see it? Did you get to see the movie yet?
Yeah, I've seen it twice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Did you? I like, my favorite's the ending, but that's just my personal
The
opinion.
third act is great.
I like it because it ties everything together. I'm curious if there were other endings. I'm going to ask Craig about that and see what he says.
Ask him. Ask him.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. That was Augie Duke and Michael Reed, the stars and co-producers of 645, which is a new Groundhog Day-like horror thriller that's releasing in theaters on August 6, 2021. You can check it out in your local market. It's coming to about 75 markets, so it might be playing near you. If you liked this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. And as always, please go to watchyourpast.com for all your movie reviews and recommendations. Thank you.